I'd like to welcome everyone to this fabulous new building. My name is David Ellis. I'm the Executive Vice President and the CFO of the college, and it feels like I started this job when I was 42. So we're pleased to welcome you to the newest facility at Becker College, which opened to the campus in January of this year, the Colleen C. Barrett Center for Global Innovation and Entrepreneurship. Now, today's event will feature a short speaking portion, followed by ribbon cutting, tours of the facility, and faculty and student presentations, and activities at key locations, some of which you may have already seen, and you will truly see an amazing building. Now, I did ask the contractor to spray paint the snow green, but as you know, the spring has been a bit slow to arrive, so there's still snow on the ground. And please come back and visit us in May, June, when we have green grass and the flowers are blooming, and it really, the entire facility will look even more spectacular. So to officially welcome you today to the Barrett Center is the president of Becker College, Dr. Nancy Crimmin. Nancy is a respected academic leader with 30 years of experience in higher education and the first woman in nearly a century to be the president of the college. Prior to her appointment as president, Dr. Crimmin served as the college's senior vice president, the chief academic and student affairs officer. She is an absolute passionate advocate for our students and is deeply committed to preparing them for success in a world that increasingly requires us to be agile, innovative, and focused on change. Please welcome the 11th president of Becker College, Dr. Crimmin.
Good afternoon. I'm positively thrilled to welcome you all here to our newly renovated state-of-the-art center. I'm also proud that it's named for one of our most phenomenal alumni, Colleen C. Barrett, Becker College class of 1964, and President Emeritus of Southwest Airlines. The only female president of a major airline, Colleen was inducted into Women in Aviation International Pioneer Hall of Fame and has received numerous awards and honors since joining Southwest in 1978. While she could not be here today, Colleen asked that I convey the following message, and I quote, "I have asked President Crimmin to thank you all from the bottom of my heart for attending this grand opening, and I want to assure each of you that I am with you in spirit as you celebrate this wonderful occasion. I am heartsick that my health prevents me from joining you today, but I do want you to know that I give Becker and my beloved departed mom the credit for any success I have reached in my 73 years. This center was my way of saying a passionate thank you to Becker for just that. Though I was on the Becker Board of Trustees for only a short period of time, it was a genuine pleasure to see what President Robert Johnson was able to accomplish during his tenure, and I know that President Crimmin will follow suit during her tenure. Nothing could please me more. Big hugs, and God bless all of you. Know that I will be forever thankful that I was in a position where I could do something more than just say thank you to my beloved Becker." Unquote. And we are filming everything for Colleen today. I'm honored to convey this message from Colleen and to add that Colleen is deeply committed, as I am, to ensuring that Becker students receive the best possible education so they can go on to achieve great things. The expansion and renovation was made possible by a number of generous donations. Including Colleen, we are grateful to the U.S. Department of Commerce, Economic Development Administration, and of course, our Becker College trustees. We also wish to acknowledge Dr. Robert Johnson, former president of Becker College and now Chancellor of UMass Dartmouth, for his vision and contributions to this center. Additionally, we are indebted to the contributions of a number of local foundations: the George I. Alden Trust, Ruth H. and Warren A. Ellsworth Foundation, George F. and Sybil H. Fuller Foundation, Mildred H. McAvoy Foundation, the Rockwell Foundation, Hoach Schofield Foundation, co-trustee, Bank of America, Francis A. and Jacqueline H. Harrington Foundation, and the Fred Harris Daniels Foundation. These are just some of those who provided support for this wonderful facility. The full list of names will be shown on the screens throughout the building, following the ribbon cutting, and throughout the day. Since the start of the spring semester, the center has been open to faculty and students. We've hosted events for the community in conjunction with valued partners and organizations, and showcased all the wonderful opportunities for students during admissions events. Quite simply, the feedback is that the work being done in this center is phenomenal. The $7.3 million facility is a hub for social business, game design and interactive media, entrepreneurship, and more. The building is well known in Worcester, formerly the historic John Woodman Higgins House. Care and consideration was taken to renovate it and also ensure it would be functional and relevant for our students now and in the future. In fact, it was recently described by the Worcester Telegram Gazette, and I quote, as, "looks like a cross between a Silicon Valley office and a Tudor-style mansion," end quote. It does. The pressing needs of our game design program have been addressed through the addition of this facility. Over the past decade, the program has grown from 12 students to over 600. We have been ranked this year as number 4 in the world by the Princeton Review. And we've just added a Master's of Fine Arts in Interactive Media, which will begin this fall. In addition to this international ranking, Becker College was recently honored with the Colleges of Distinction recognition, both nationally and for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. The Colleges of Distinction recognizes smaller institutions that are best places to learn, grow, and succeed. And the publication called The Knowledge Review, which is an international education magazine that serves to connect students with institutions in the U.S., featured Becker in its article, 10 Most Admired Colleges and Universities to Watch in 2018. Clearly, Becker is an institution on the move. We are proud of our purpose, a career-focused college that prepares graduates for their first to last career. This new center provides them with valuable experiential learning experience and industry-specific knowledge that they need. By the time they graduate, they are already competitive in the digital marketplace with the skill set necessary for almost every industry in our modern economy. Thank you all for being here for the grand opening of the Barrett Center. After the ribbon cutting, as Dr. Ellis said, you'll have a chance to tour the facility, see the Mass Digi New Venture Center, the augmented reality and the virtual reality lab, the game design studio, the Unis Social Business Center, and Becker's eSports Club. I would like to take a minute to make sure that we all thank every member of the Becker community who worked so hard to put this event together. This truly has been a campus initiative, and yes, I'm off script. She's looking at me back there. Yes, I'm off script. This truly has been a campus initiative. We couldn't have done it without everyone on campus and our amazing, amazing students. So thank you to everyone for this. Thank you.
Thank you, President Crimmen. At this time, I'd like to, it'd be a little difficult in terms of standing up, but I want to thank the project teams that worked on this amazing end product. First, I'd like to start with the architect, Bill Masiello. Stand up, Bill. And Alyssa Way. Back in 2011, Dr. Johnson said, "I want this thing to pop," and I think Bill did a very nice job in achieving that. I'd also like to thank Alyssa Way and Nicole Seasley from his staff, who did a lot of the, there they are, right there. Thank you very much. Next, I'd like to thank the contractor, an excellent company, Worcester-based F.W. Madigan. I'd like to thank Fran Madigan and Jim Madigan. I said Jim, I don't know where, there he is over there. But now I have a special thanks. I've been very fortunate to have worked in this business for 40 years and was allowed to, when I was very young, be involved in construction projects on college campuses. And so I'd like to introduce Paul Nichols, who's going to be embarrassed that I point him out. Over those 40 years, Paul is the single best superintendent I've ever worked on in a construction project, and I've probably done $400 million worth. So. And finally, I'd like to acknowledge the Becker people, Patty Patria, who I think is still working at WPI, so we're going to yell at Michelle for not letting her get out earlier. Ken Cameron, who's way in the back. Tim LeGrant. I'd like to thank Captain Menard in the back, and I think I saw the Sergeant DePolduck earlier. And then from our facility staff, Rod Maxwell and Keith Stanley, and a lot of other people were involved. This was an extremely complex project, and we're just all very happy that it's done. So thanks to all of them. Congressman James McGovern received an honorary degree from the college in 2005 and has always been a strong and passionate voice for higher education and much more, as all of us know. He was unfortunately called away and could not join us today, but we're very pleased to welcome Colleen Barrett, the district director and the general counsel to Congressman McGovern. She manages the congressman's 3 district offices, all the staff in Massachusetts. She also provides legal counsel to the congressman and is responsible for areas that include science, technology, energy, economic development, and municipal relations, and more. So we please welcome, and obviously very, very busy, Colleen Barrett.
Thank you, David, for welcoming me so generously. I appreciate it. I am very pleased to be here on behalf of Congressman McGovern today. He was called to an event in the western part of our district. The congressman likes to joke that our district goes out to Utah, but he's really just in Greenfield. So I'm very excited to be here, in particular because personally I have fondness for historic buildings, so this is really exciting for me. The president mentioned that the Higgins House is over 100 years old and was built as the home for John Higgins, who was the president of the former Worcester Pressed Steel Corporation. And in his day, he was quite the industrial magnate. When I accompanied the congressman here on a tour about 6 weeks ago, we were joined by Deborah Bevan, the economic development specialist from Massachusetts from the Department of Commerce Economic Development Administration. As the president mentioned, the EDA contributed $1.4 million to this project and has also provided 2 other university center grants to Becker. So Ms. Bevan was particularly interested to see how this building turned out, and I'm pleased to report that she was absolutely thrilled with it, and that made us very happy because we want every penny of federal money that we can get right here in Worcester. So we were happy to have the tour with her. And during the tour, the congressman and Mrs. Bevan were so impressed by the thoughtful and creative adaptive reuse of the Higgins House into the overall project. Really, the Higgins House was almost like wrapped in this big hug of this new building, and it just is so impressive. And as some of you know who are kind of historic building buffs, adaptive reuse is really just a phrase to describe using an old building for a new purpose for which it wasn't intended. And after we were on the tour, the congressman started chatting about the adaptive reuse of the Higgins House, but also how the adaptive reuse sort of described the way Worcester does business and the way Becker in particular does business. And I thought it was such a cool idea, not just because he's my boss and this is being recorded, but it really is sort of a way to describe how Worcester and Becker in particular functions. They adapt, they reuse, and they create. Because if you think about it, back in 1912, when this beautiful property was being built, Worcester's economic driver was traditional manufacturing, and Becker was really focusing its education on what the students needed to participate in that industry. And now here in Worcester, what we manufacture is intellectual property. And so Becker has adapted and reused all of its historic origins to train what Dr. Johnson likes to characterize as the agile mind. And so we're so proud of the adaptive reuse, not only of this historic property, but of the way Becker has created students for the future out of such a well-rooted past. So I congratulate you on this incredible accomplishment, and now that I've been run over by a virtual car and been also a virtual hamster, I look forward to seeing the wonderful things that come out of this fabulous facility. Congratulations.
For those of us in risk management, we see a whole new thing we've got to now protect. At this time, I'd like to introduce Jay Ash, the Secretary of Housing and Economic Development for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Secretary Ash is responsible for directing and executing Governor Charlie Baker's agenda on housing and community development, job creation, business development, consumer affairs, and business regulation. Since joining the Baker-Polito administration, he has prioritized efforts to grow jobs, help communities realize their economic development priorities, connect citizens to the new economic opportunities, and build prosperity across the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. With that, I'd like to welcome Secretary Ash.
Thank you, David. He left out the most important thing. Son of Worcester, or adopted son of Worcester, graduate of Clark University, class of '83. Great to be back here. Great to be back in the President's house. I will acknowledge that I never had to come to the President's house while I was a student, so that's a good thing. Jim Collins, many of you know, are here. He's left, and he's taken with him all the stories, so he will not be confirming or denying anything that I say here today. On behalf of Governor Baker and Lieutenant Governor Polito, it's a great pleasure to be here. I have to tell you that I'm excited about what's happening here, having had an opportunity to talk to Dr. Johnson many times about what was happening here, and now having a chance to talk with President Crimmen. We are excited about innovation. We are excited about entrepreneurship. We are excited about Worcester. We're excited that Becker is pulling it all together and leading. So to everyone who has contributed to this, thank you. Special message to Colleen. Where's the camera that Colleen is going to be seeing? Is it straight ahead? Colleen, I am a loyal Southwest Airlines passenger. I feel much better today. Not that I ever felt bad before, but I feel much better today flying Southwest, knowing that you were a leader there and have contributed to this wonderful center. So Colleen, thank you for continuing to keep Worcester and Becker in your mind. You can applaud for that. Governor Baker feels so strongly about innovation and entrepreneurship that when we came into office, we actually created an assistant secretary's position in my department entitled the Assistant Secretary of Technology, Innovation, and Entrepreneurship. Governor Baker, Lieutenant Governor Polito feel so strongly about innovation in our communities that in our recent economic development bill, which was adopted in 2016, and I thank Representative Mahoney and other legislative leaders for their collaboration on that important initiative. We created a community collaboration workspace program to work with the Beckers of the world and work with other institutions, other entrepreneurs in cities and towns all around the Commonwealth to make sure that the number one thing that we have here in Massachusetts continues to thrive. And that number one thing is all of us. That's the talent that is produced at the Beckers, the Clarks, all right, Ed, the Holy Crosses, and throughout this great Commonwealth. So we are pleased to be a small part of a big celebration here, and we thank all of you for your contributions to making this center happen. This fits the Massachusetts agenda. I know that Ed will say it fits the Worcester agenda. I will also tell you that this fits the agenda of our United States of America. And I understand why Congressman McGovern was so thrilled to tour this facility and be able to advocate for funding for it, because this is really what we have to do more of in order to continue to be the competitive nation we are. So I congratulate everyone for everything that you did to pull this all together, and know that Governor Baker, Lieutenant Governor Polito, our friends in the legislature, will continue to work with Becker and other institutions to make sure that innovation and entrepreneurship is alive and well here in Massachusetts. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. It's now my pleasure to introduce the Worcester City Manager, Edward M. Augustus, Jr., who has worked in public service for more than 20 years. As a city manager, he's focused on continuing Worcester's economic development, its renaissance, supporting education. And as someone who's worked in education, I can tell you that Worcester supports higher education far better than many of the other municipalities I've worked in, and making city government inclusive for Worcester residents. The city, there were 1 million complications on this project, and the city's support services, from the building department to the water department to the tree warden to the fire department, they were very easy to work with, and that's not always the case. So we thank you very much for that, and I ask everyone to welcome Mr. Augustus.
It always works following Jay Ash because the microphone is right where I want it. Let me just say congratulations to the entire Becker community for coming together and making this project a reality. I know a project as complicated as this, with as many funding sources, really integrating a historic building and making sure that you maintain that character, as well as putting in all the modern essentials for a center that's focused on innovation and creativity, isn't easy. It takes a lot of teamwork, a lot of people working in concert. And you know, when I was listening to all the different funders, it so reminds me of everything good that's happening here in the city of Worcester. It's everybody coming together. It's our federal partners and our state partners and the city and the foundations and the business community, and so many talented people that we have in this community who make everything possible. They come together, they work together, and they improve upon our community. As has been mentioned, there's so many great things happening in the city, and it's not all just downtown. Each of our colleges and universities are little economic engines placed strategically throughout the city. And there isn't a conversation that I have with a developer or somebody who's looking to invest in this city that in the first couple of sentences I'm bragging about, or they're telling me about, our 35,000 college students and all of the talent that we have on these college campuses. It's our #1 calling card as a city. And so we need to be good to you because you're good to us. We're working together in concert. Worcester is our college community is our city. So together we're going to continue to reinvent ourselves, position ourselves for the future, and really make Worcester and Becker the best that people have ever seen. So congratulations to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Senator Harriet Chandler could not be here today due to her State House obligations, but we're very happy to say that State Representative John Mahoney is here today, and I'd like to call him up to say a few words at this time.
Thank you, everybody, and President Crimmon, President Johnson, congratulations. I was elected 7 years ago and became close and fast friends with Robert Johnson and my good friend Tim Lowe. Tim has shown me all that Mass Digi, all the work he's done on it, and it's really amazing to see the progress and what we've come into here. And as a father of 2 teenage boys, I really know a lot about video games. They play them constantly, and I've broken up probably 7 or 8 fist fights because of who gets access to the video game and who doesn't. But you know, it was mentioned earlier by my friend Kathleen that this house was built by the people who own Norton Company. And you know, in the Greendale section where I grew up, they had about 5,000 people who worked there. And that was great. That was the old days. They're not coming back, but this is the future. This kind of technology, you know, Secretary Ash talked about it too. You know, these are the states that are in the vanguard of where we're going to be as an economy in the world. Massachusetts, California, New York. These are the places to be. These are the jobs of the future. So it's an honor to be here with you today. And since I'm the last person between now and cocktail hour, I'm going to leave it at that. So, all right. Thank you very much.
My message, the great irony is, if you think about the paradigm shift in higher education, Mr. Representative, people now pay us tuition to play video games. We figured out how to scale it. Okay. As President Crimmon previously conveyed, this beautiful center was made possible through contributions from a number of sources, including the United States Department of Commerce Economic Development Administration. And while the regional director of EDA's Philadelphia-based office, Linda Cruz Carnell, could not be with us today, she did ask that we convey the best wishes of her Philadelphia team, who are also a great help in this process. She particularly wanted to convey how much she looks forward to sharing our future successes on the business incubation and R&D efforts happening throughout the facility. And not quite finally, but at this time, I'd like to ask the chair of Becker College's Board of Trustees, so there's still a couple more to speak here, J. DiGeronimo, to come say a few words.
Is there a script? Am I supposed to read the script? It's my privilege to stand here on behalf of the Board of Trustees at Becker College and to thank once again those that contributed that Nancy mentioned and our friends at the state, local, and federal level for supporting this program. This building and the programs housed in this shows what a small college could do, can be innovative and creative and survive in a very competitive and tough environment, higher education. And I know Nancy talked about our game design program, and I remember, God, Robert, it was almost 8 years ago, you came here and you said, you guys just won an award for, from the Princeton Review. We've got to promote this. We've got to build this. You guys have a diamond in the rough. Let's go. And we did. And the program continues with the help of the Dean of the School Design and Technology, Alan Ritacco, and most especially the doctor that's been here almost since the beginning, Dr. Paul Kottner. Please give them a hand back there. And of course, with that, one of the things that Becker showed the world is we could be nimble and we could be quick. And this next initiative that Robert said, this Mass Digi thing, let's grab it. It's a great synergy with our game design program. Let's move on it. Let's get it done. And we did. And it would not have gotten done without the support back then and the continued support and growth of the program of Tim Lowe and Monty Sharma. Where are they? Please give them a hand. Tim's back there. And then Robert's emphasis on the whole idea of global citizenship and that young adults today are going to participate in a much more interconnected world and change jobs, and said that we've got to look on a global focus, and said there's something called the Unicenter about entrepreneurship, about social business. He said, I think we can become one of the landmark institutions to house and support a Unis Business Center. And again, we got that done. And it continues its success today, as I hope you can see the presentation and the exhibit upstairs. And our support continues for that program, headed by Dr. Debbie Pilato Fontaine. Where is she? Debbie, right there. Thank you so much. From the start, this whole project garnered the support of the trustees, and even though through some machinations back and forth, we got it done, but there was no one that took this project on from beginning until end. The construction itself, the financing, everything that had to get done. I want to have a special thanks and round of applause who headed this whole project, Dr. David Ellis. David. And most especially, someone who's been actively involved in all these programs and their development and the nuts and bolts of seeing them come to fruition and develop and create a real definition and character for Becker College. She was Senior Vice President of Academic and Student Affairs before she became our president. But a special thanks to Dr. Nancy Crimmon, our president, for her drive, determination, and commitment to get this job done. Thank you. And finally, Colleen, couldn't have done it without you. We miss you. All the best. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts, and from all the trustees, Colleen, you'll always be with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay. Earlier, I conveyed the value of this facility to our students in preparing for their professional lives. Our final speaker today is a Becker College graduate who has achieved outstanding success. And it truly, truly is my joy to talk about our students. It is what I love to do, and this is my favorite part. I truly cannot say enough about Ryan Canuel, class of 2015. As a testament to the influence of our program, Ryan actually founded his company, Petrichor Inc., just before graduation, and we're proud that the Barrett Center serves as the new home base for this company. Petrichor develops digital games and software applications for clients around the world, ranging from vascular surgeons to big data companies and to museums. Petrichor was one of 12 companies to win a spot in the Startup Worcester initiative to help local entrepreneurial college and university students. In 2015, Ryan was named Entrepreneur of the Year by the Worcester Regional Chamber of Commerce. In 2017, Ryan received the Rising Pixel Award during the annual BIT Awards in New York City. It sounds like a foreign language, doesn't it? Not to him. Which recognizes a rising game developer who is making an impact on the community and the industry. Ryan's Petrichor team is made up of other Becker class of 2015 graduates, Christina Adriano, Oliver Awat, Chris Bruno, and James Spavold. In the fast-paced world of digital games industry, the innovative and creativity reflected by Petrichor is indicative of our top-rated game design program. Thanks to the Barrett Center, we envision many more rising stars emerging from Becker. Please help me give a warm welcome to Ryan Canuel.
Thank you, President Crimmen. My relationship with Becker started in 2011 when I was a freshman here in the game design program. And that actually happened to be the same year where Becker purchased this building, which was then just 80 William Street. So you might be able to say we've grown up together, so it's nice to be here. So I started Petrichor in 2015, along with all the team that was mentioned here, who were either recent graduates along with me or still in school. They didn't know any better at the time to say no to me, so they came along and started the business. Since that time, we've worked on games that have been downloaded across the world by almost a million downloads at this point. And we've also worked with a number of museums, cultural institutions, building interactive exhibits for them. And those are spread out all across the United States and as far as Muse, France. Along the way, Becker College and MassDigi for us have been advisors, they've been mentors, and they've really believed in us and helped us get to the success that we've been able to reach. So now, as the inaugural tenants of this building, it's really exciting for us to be able to be a company in residence and help guide some of the students who are currently here at Becker and hope to see them reach the same level or hopefully more success than we've been able to achieve. I can't imagine that there are many institutions in the world that see education as something that doesn't just end at graduation, but something that it's just a beginning point where the relationship can build further. That has really been the case for us, and we've gotten a ton of support. I would love to thank, first of all, President Crimmen, Becker College as a whole, Dr. Ellis, former President Dr. Johnson, and especially for just supporting the idea that we had early on wanting to start this business. I am eternally grateful to the college and especially everyone here for your support that allows this building to exist. Thank you.
Thank you, Colleen Barrett.
Thank you, Colleen Barrett.
Thank you, Colleen Barrett.
Thank you, Colleen Barrett, for making this dream a reality. The new Colleen Barrett Center is beautiful.
Thank you, Colleen Barrett.
Thank you, Colleen Barrett.
Thank you, Colleen Barrett.
Thank you, Colleen.
Thank you, Colleen Barrett, our new home of the Eunice Social Business Center at Becker College.
Thank you, Colleen Barrett.
Thank you, Colleen Barrett.
Thank you, Colleen.
I'm really excited. This is an awesome building. Thank you so much.